what's up? It's Big Hot Rod and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T-Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up? Hot Rod. What up? L Train. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the
Welcome to another episode of 3 The Hard Way. I got my fellas, as always, in the house, the host of the Locker Room Podcast, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What is the deal, Hot Rod?
What is going on, 3 The Hard Way Nation? What's going on, my fellas? Y'all know who this is. I am your friendly neighborhood coach, and like I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And the man that is on East Coast time, the captain of our ship. We're taping this thing a little bit later on Sunday than usual, but the cap is still here. Mr. Terrence Austin. What's up, T?
What's going on, fellas? And what's going on, everyone out there? 3 The Hard Way Nation. Let's get this ship underway. Let's get it going. Let's get it rolling.
Cleveland fans, this may be one of the most important stretches we've had in years. Think about this. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers playoff expectations. That's pressure. You got the Browns draft uncertainty, what they're going to do in the draft. That's a little bit of pressure for the Cleveland Browns front office. You got pressure all across the city of Cleveland, fellas. So we're going to start with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, the playoffs are about to get underway. We're looking at expectations. Cleveland Cavaliers are about 500 their last 10 games. Some people are worried. Some people are not worried. You know, it's all about the opponent and what the Cleveland Cavaliers bring to the table. Let's just think about the first round, fellas. What are your expectations for our Cleveland Cavaliers first round of the playoffs?
Well, I'll begin. I'm a little nervous, okay? However, I'm glad that we're here. I just finished watching them this afternoon, playing the Washington Wizards and going out with a win. There was no starters on the floor. It was all, the entire backup unit. And I, what I saw. We had about a 30-something point lead that we let fizzle away.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, again, it was good seeing some of the other guys, get out there and run. Now it's all a waiting game, okay? Whether it'll be Toronto that we face first or the Atlanta Hawks. It'll be one or the other. Now, the good thing, we got an entire week, to rest up, practice, get some ice on some knees, bandage up a few minor injuries, because for the most part, the Cavaliers are healthy. We're as healthy as we could be and as we should be, and I'm happy there's no major injuries, so we should be able to go in with a full squad starting next week. But I just hope that this week that they use time wisely, proper time management, heal up, practice up, and get ready. If the playoffs begin on a Sunday, it's something about us playing on Sunday.
I know, man.
We don't play well on Sundays.
I know.
I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, putting that aside, it's time to go. It's time to go, and I'm going to save some more of the upcoming playoff run for my parting shot about the Cavaliers. But let's buckle up and let's make this thing happen.
All right,
Let's
all
go.
right.
So I watched the game as well, and I knew it was a nothing game. I mean, Washington is terrible. Kenny Atkinson got a lot of his young players out there and let him run around. Got Tyson, let him, get his legs up under him. One thing I will say, they're going into the playoffs healthy. That is one of the big keys, that they're going into the playoffs healthy. All right. Now they're playing the Toronto Raptors. That's solid now. They're going to play the Raptors in the first round. During this regular season, the Raptors swept them the season series. Here's my thing. I'm just still concerned about them defensively, in terms of guarding the 3-point line and being able to rebound. All right. I am not a fan of Scottie.
Brandon Ingram too.
Yep.
Now Brandon Ingram, the fact of the matter that he lasted the entire season is a credit to him, because he's Mr. Glass. He always is hurt. And so to see, and I'm not a fan of Scottie Barnes. I think Scottie Barnes is overrated. I just really do. I don't see anything that makes me fear Scotty Barnes. But in those 3 games that the Raptors beat the Cavaliers, James Harden wasn't on the floor. Keon Ellis wasn't there, and neither was Dennis
Right.
Schroeder. They weren't there.
Right.
So now you got a different Cavalier squad. Now you've got to guard everybody. The key, once again, to this playoff run, it's going to fall on the shoulders of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. These guys got to show up. I think that the Raptors will take them to 5 games. I think the Cavaliers are better. I think it'll go 5. The Cavaliers just need to be tested in the first round because last year they were not. Miami did not test them at all. And then they got to Indiana and they got steamrolled. So I'm looking for Toronto to get physical and to test them a little bit, but I see the Cavs winning in 5 in terms of winning the series.
That's a key point you bring up, Hot Rod. I forgot that James Harden wasn't on this team, neither Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. So that's a good point that you bring up, and that's a big difference now that we got them boys. Big difference.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the Toronto Raptors, man, I think all year long they've struggled to put together long winning streaks. They've been this team that has a lot of inconsistencies, and they are typically in the top half of the defensive rating, so they can put some D on you for sure, but they are below average in half court efficiency when you look at the whole landscape of the NBA, fellas. So they get a lot of points in transition. So I think the Cleveland Cavaliers transition defense is going to be huge for them in this series. I like what Hot Rod said about the Cavaliers getting them in 5. That's kind of where I am. I can see the Cleveland Cavaliers sweeping them. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the Toronto Raptors are good enough to win a game. Their ceiling is probably 2 games, but that's all that I see them getting from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I think it's going to be, I think they're going to compete. Like, I don't think it's going to be a walkover type series.
They're well coached. Nick Nurse is a good coach now.
Yep.
They're well coached.
I thought when Nick Nurse was out there looking for a squad, I thought he was going to end up in Milwaukee. Now, rumor has it Doc Rivers is out in Milwaukee. But I've always respected Nick Nurse, so I think it's going to be a tough series for the Cleveland Cavaliers for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. When you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, fellas, a lot of people have been writing in, and they've been asking us, L Train, Cap, Hot Rod, are these guys contenders or pretenders when you talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers? I had one gentleman write in, I think his name was David from St. Petersburg, and he was talking about in his email, I wish I could pull it up, I don't have it anymore, but he was talking about, he thought that like all of the magic of the James Harden trade has kind of been sucked out of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I disagreed with them. Like, I knew that there were going to be growing pains with that. I expected them to come out a little bit better on the back end when it came to that, but I do think they're ready to go for the playoffs. What's your thoughts about him saying that maybe some of the air has kind of been sucked out of the James Harden deal?
No, I wouldn't call them pretenders. They're contenders, okay? They're contenders. It's just that there's, that Boston team, I think, is a little bit better than us.
Agreed.
And, New York concerns me as well. However, again, we're fully healthy.
Yep.
We're fully healthy, and we're deep. So I like our chances. I'm not going to count us out against those guys, okay? I'm not going to count us out. Those 2 teams may be a little bit better than us, but we can go toe-to-toe with them. So I like our chances. I like our chances. So, no, they're not pretenders. They're not pretenders. And, again, we've talked about this. We definitely need Evan Mobley to step up.
Yep.
Jared Allen has shown that he finished the season strong, okay? Coming down the stretch, he's strong. So I feel good about him. It's easy to take shots at Harden because, he hasn't shown up in the past, but that's the past, okay? It's just like the other night I was watching a baseball game and a batter came up and he was like 1 for 11 and had struck out the first, the last 4 times.
Yeah.
First pitch, he knocked it out of the park, okay? So anything can happen. Anything can happen, but I like our chances. And no, we're not pretenders. We're not pretenders, and we're going to give it a fight, going forward with whoever is in front of us. I like our chances.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that they're pretenders. I'm not gonna say that because they've won 52 games after starting 16 and 17 the beginning of the year.
Yep, that's
So
legit.
and they have now turned it around. Now, do I think they are the number one team to beat in the Eastern Conference? No, absolutely not.
No.
Because, like I said, defensively they still have holes, and rotationally they still have holes. You know, Kenny Atkinson said a few weeks ago that he felt that these guys their mindset was we can outscore everybody. And I agree with his assessment. You know, however, you got to put the guys out there that's gonna compete. That's gonna, you know, I'm really looking at Kenny Atkinson having a short leash in this playoff run for some people, and Evan Mobley is one of them.
Anybody in particular? Okay,
Evan Mobley is one of
anybody
them.
in particular.
Evan Mobley is one of them.
Okay.
Because now to give Evan credit over the last few games, he I think it's clicked that he realizes that he is not a 3-point shooter. He will shoot them, but he realizes that the volume of shots that he was taking from the 3-point line had to decrease. I'm still concerned about him at the free throw line because, as all of us know, in tight games, teams are going to foul him. Okay, and so I'm a little concerned about that. Am I scared of any team in the Eastern Conference? No, I'm not.
No.
Not even Boston.
No.
I'm not afraid of none of them because if the Cavs are on their game, if James Harden is just James Harden, okay, just play a little bit of defense for me, brother, right out on the outside, okay, to play a little help defense. If James Harden is James Harden and Donovan Mitchell is going to be Donovan Mitchell, why? Because this is serious for him, because the label of him not getting past the first round or the second round, it's going to haunt him. So watch Donovan Mitchell come out of the box blazing, because he's got to get past Toronto, and he's got to get past whoever's in the second round. So yes, I don't call them pretenders. I do agree that some of the James Harden smoke has diminished. I knew that was going to happen. Okay, everybody was excited, but now he's settled in. I am not a fan of the ISO ball. I'm not.
Nope.
I'm more of ball movement, man movement. The ball has energy. Teams cannot move quicker than the ball. And when the Cavaliers were at their best, even though they got eliminated early, it was man movement and ball movement. And I still remember Draymond Green saying, man, we played the Cavaliers and that ball was whipping all around the court. They looked like us. Kenny has now acquiesced to James Harden, and now the ball sticks more. So that's my issue. But I do think they can do some things in the playoffs if they got their heads right.
Yeah, not afraid of anybody. I'm like you, Hot Rod and Cap. I don't fear another team out there. I have some concerns about other teams out there, but no fear. My one concern, and we touched on the James Harden smoke. My one concern is that if you had one critique about James Harden that has followed him through his career, is his playoffs and how he shows up in the playoffs. I mean, that has followed him with every team that he has been in. And now, not that he comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers and he's our savior, but he's a big piece of the pie of why we traded for him, the excitement of him. He's a force multiplier, meaning making everybody else on the floor a little bit better. Do you expect to see the best James Harden that you've seen in the playoffs? Because that has always been the big concern. Even when he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, everybody's saying, well, that's a nice regular season trade, but what is James Harden going to do in the playoffs? You heard that when the Cavs acquired him. So deep down inside, there's a little bit of hesitancy with me, like, okay, James, this is your time. You were the missing piece to the puzzle, so to speak. Let's get it going. Let's let this be your biggest playoff run.
Gotcha.
And so I'm looking for him to really, really step up, probably more than anybody on the Cleveland Cavaliers team.
Yeah, and let me be more specific, L Train and Hot Rod. It's not his play in the playoffs. It's generally in game sevens where he's kind of come up
Okay,
short.
yeah, you're
Okay,
right. Yep.
yeah. It's game sevens. In the past. In the playoffs, yeah, he's got some pretty good numbers. It's just that when it's make or break, a game 7 or a game 6 where they're possibly about to get eliminated. That's where he has turned into a pumpkin in the past.
Boston
okay?
could be a game
But
7, T.
Right. And again, like I say, like that batter the other night who was 1 for 11 in the first pitch, and they're still trying to find the daggone ball, okay? So eventually he's going to break out of that. Yeah, eventually he's going to break out of that. So it's not his overall play in the playoffs. It's just generally, in the past when he gets down to a game 7.
Yep.
And I think, with the way the Cavaliers are structured now, it takes pressure off of James Harden because now he has a guy in Donovan Mitchell who he can say, all right, brother, here you go. I'm off. Here's the ball. And Donovan can score 35, 40 in his sleep. It doesn't put the pressure on James Harden to be that guy. He, if you look at how he has been playing over the last few weeks since the trade, he's been more of a facilitator. He's been more of getting people in the proper position, sagging the defense, and then kicking to an open shooter. And so,
and he's been magical with that too, man. He's been magical.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my concern with him is he hasn't been getting the calls that he used to get. When he goes to the cup, he hasn't been getting those kind of calls. But
we don't get calls, period, as Cavs. We don't get calls, period.
But I look at it like this, is that when you look at where James Harden has been and why James Harden is left, there's one common denominator. The common denominator is when the teams start to lean on him.
Yep.
He caves in. He doesn't mind being Robin to somebody's Batman. But what he wants you to be is Batman. Don't turn around in game 7 and say, okay, you got to be Batman. He did. If you look at when he started, look at when he was in Oklahoma City. Who did he have? He had Russell Westbrook and he had Kevin Durant.
KD.
When you look at when he went to Houston, he only had Chris Paul. Okay? So, in Philadelphia, he had Joel Embiid. He had to be Batman. Okay? And so now in Cleveland, he doesn't have to be Batman. Batman is there.
Right.
Okay? So I'm looking for, and then you got those ancillary pieces, your Jalen Tyson, those guys. All right? I'm looking for Dean Wade to step up. If Dean Wade can hit some shots, if Max Strus can be consistent, this team is going to be hard to beat. Now, the insurance policy is Dennis Schroeder. He's the insurance policy. Yeah, but he's the insurance policy at the guard position. Because if James does flame out, you have a guy who has been a starting point guard, who has won a EuroLeague championship, that is now on your squad. So Dennis Schroeder is the insurance policy at guard, and Bryant is your insurance policy at center. So the Cavs are set to make this run. It's gonna honestly, it's gonna fall on Kenny Atkinson to put people in the proper place.
Any intriguing matchups in the first round that you guys are looking at in terms of any series that are on the board? I know there's still a few more games you got to play, but everything is kind of lining up. Any series that you're looking forward to watching that's pretty intriguing for you?
Not really, L Train. I'm just thinking about us, Now, granted, I will watch all the others, but to be honest with your question, no, I'm just focused on us. Now, again, I will watch, the other games. I like the West. I'll watch the West because I think that Lakers Houston matchup, right? Aren't they those two going to match up?
Yes.
Lakers and Houston. Yeah, that one will be. Yeah, that one. Because Luka's banged up, and we'll see what LeBron can pull out of his hat. It doesn't look good. Again, you're expecting, a 41-year-old LeBron to hold things down. But again, he's gonna go out with a fight because KD is on the other side of that that ball there, and he's not gonna want to go out like a sucker. Okay, so he's gonna defend his turf, defend his name, defend his his legacy and everything. So I'll be kind of watching that. Yeah, the Lakers in Houston, but again, it's unfortunate that Luka's out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so I agree with Cap. Out there in the West, that 4-5 matchup with the Lakers and the Rockets. I am gonna be a bit intrigued when it comes to the Nuggets and the T-Wolves.
Woo, that's gonna be hot.
Yeah,
That's gonna be hot.
I am
man.
gonna be intrigued.
too.
Now, if the Nuggets
too.
are healthy,
Yeah.
my bad Minnesota, I just don't see the T-Wolves
It's gonna be
beating
tough.
a full healthy Nuggets team. The Nuggets haven't
but
been
Hot
healthy.
Rod, the Nuggets have been so inconsistent
I
this
get
year
it,
too.
but
okay?
you still got
They've been
Nikola
so
Jokic,
inconsistent.
man. You still
Yeah.
got Jokic going on. So
But they've been inconsistent. L Train, don't let Hot Rod scare your team.
No,
man.
I'm not. I'm just
this year.
saying. I know Anthony Edwards is an absolute monster. Okay, I know they have ancillary pieces on that team that can compete, but this is the time for Edwards to step up and be that guy. We know Anthony Edwards can score in his sleep. We understand that.
Mhm.
But now to the mark of being that superstar is making the guys around you better. Okay?
Right.
Especially in the playoffs. Because teams will let Edwards go for 40 and 50, but not let the Mike Conleys of the world get off. Not let those other ancillary pieces get off. So I'm intrigued to look at that series. I'm intrigued for the Lakers and the Rockets because if Luka's not healthy, guess who's got to carry that team? LeBron is going to have to dig deep, and he's going to have to carry that squad. In the East, I honestly, if Orlando matches up with Boston, don't count Orlando out. Okay, now Orlando in the play-in as it's constructed right now, they have to play the 76ers. I don't think the Sixers can beat the Magic. I don't, because Joel
they're gonna
Embiid
steamroll
is
the Sixers. They're gonna steamroll them,
So if Orlando matches up with Boston, don't just say a Boston
Don't give 'em a
sweep.
run.
They'll give them a run for
Right,
their
no,
money.
They won't. Give 'em a run.
New
Give 'em a run.
York plays Atlanta. I right now, New York is the most struggling team going into the playoffs right now. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that Lakers Rockets, I'm intrigued to see that one. I'm gonna tune in for that one.
Yeah, a lot of good first round series. If I looked on the Western Conference, I gotta take. I'm with you, Hot Rod. I gotta take the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is the most deep Timberwolves team that we've had up here in a long time with the acquisition of Io from the Chicago Bulls. He's really enhanced our
That was a
bench.
great pickup.
Oh man, that was a great pickup for us.
Yeah.
I think we deep. The level of concern for me in this series, though, because I've never really been afraid of the Denver Nuggets. Like every time we go up against the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, we beat them. And then we handle them in the regular season. So that's a great matchup for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's what a lot of people don't know. I don't know if Anthony Edwards, I don't know if his knee is quite right. Like that is a concern. I know he missed about 6 or 7 games towards the end of the season. And in these last couple of games, they were talking about shutting him down, but he ended up playing the other night and he really didn't look good. He really didn't have that explosiveness. So we're going to need Anthony Edwards in that series.
He's got a week to get ready.
Oh, man, he's got a week to get ready, and he's got to be ready. And if there's any sort of soreness or inflammation with that knee, that is a big-time concern for the Timberwolves. And I think on the Eastern Conference side, man, the Atlanta Hawks versus the New York Knicks, that is going to be a series. That is physicalness versus pace. You got a team that loves to score and jack a lot of threes and play fast in the Atlanta Hawks. And then you got the toughness of the New York Knicks and a diversity of an offense type philosophy that can give a lot of teams trouble. They can play you inside. They can shoot the three from outside. So I think those two series for me are going to be really, really intriguing to watch. Man, I think some of these first round matchups are going to be huge in the NBA. I think they're going to garner a lot of ratings. I think it's going to be really entertaining basketball. So hats off to the NBA, man, for getting it right. Even the play-in games are going to be exciting.
Yeah,
and
they're going to keep us all on the edge of our seats. On the edge of our seats.
Yep, and the one thing I don't want to hear about is the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid. Man, Joel Embiid is always hurt, always not around. He just had an appendicitis or something where he had to have an operation. So who knows how healthy he's going to be. But when they need him, it always seems like he's not there. So we'll see what happens with the Philadelphia 76ers. Should be a fun playoffs, fellas.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. Go Cavs. Go Cavs.
It's almost draft time. We got a couple of weeks until the draft, obviously, and a lot of, every week it seems like there's some different news out there, but we've got, and again, I don't want to steal your thunder. I don't know if we want to touch on this, but we got some issues with Myles Garrett and Ton Munkin and that whole deal. What do you guys feel about the news going into the draft with the Cleveland Browns?
Well, the first thing, and I'm surprised Hot Rod didn't touch on this yesterday on his show. I was expecting him. I'm hearing Hot Rod that number 6 pick is for sale. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm hearing that Andrew Berry has put it out there that number 6 spot is for sale, and I'm hearing that the Dallas Cowboys are very interested in that. Okay. Now, Hot Rod may know a little more. I know Andrew Berry, if he can maybe get a first-round pick for next year out of that deal, he may go with it, just kind of like how we got that first-round pick for this year from Jacksonville. So I want Hot Rod to touch on that. That's what I heard midweek. I heard it for an entire day that Andrew Berry has made it known to everyone out there. That number 6 pick, hey, best buy, best deal, you can have it. And I'm hearing that the Cowboys are very interested in that. So I'm curious to hear about that. You heard anything about that, Hot Rod?
I did. And so I didn't deliberately speak on it in the locker room because I wanted to touch on it because I figured we would touch on it here. And so the Dallas Cowboys, there's a possibility the Dallas Cowboys have the number 12 and the 20th pick. And so what they're looking to possibly do, because rumor and innuendo has it that the Dallas Cowboys are really big on Caleb Downs. They really want Caleb Downs. And so they're talking to the Browns because they think Downs will be there at 6. And because the other team that would, if Caleb fell to them, would be the Cincinnati Bengals. And so, but my only concern with that is Andrew Berry would be looking for a draft pick for the 27 draft. I don't think Jerry Jones is going to give up a second-round pick for 27. I think he's going to offer 12
on us,
and he's going to offer 24, which is still to me,
he froze up. What are your thoughts
deal.
Going into the draft with the Cleveland Browns?
Again, it's
this draft is loaded with wide receivers.
I think you froze up, Hot Rod.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, now you're good. You're good now. You're good.
Okay. So this I think that the 12th and the 20th would be a good deal for me because I think Andrew Berry sees that there's a plethora of wide receivers that he could get, and there's also offensive linemen. I don't think he wants to draft Monroe Freeland or that high. I don't think he, and I said this on the previous show, is I don't think he's totally sold on Carnell Tate, which I don't get it, but he's not. So he's dangling number 6 there. You're not now. If no one offers him a good enough package for number 6, he's prepared to make the pick.
Yep.
He's prepared. But if he gets a Godfather deal that comes across, he's going to take it. And he's going to trade. I said it last week. I think that Andrew Berry will trade down. I don't think he's gonna pick at number 6. I think he's gonna trade down and possibly trade down twice. Okay, because he's always had a history of stockpiling, and so I can see that happening. But yes, I did hear the rumor and Jerry Jones is trying to get back in the mix. He only got so much time left on this earth, and he wants to get another championship. So he's going to do whatever it takes. So if Andrew Berry can massage a second-round pick in 27, then I can see him doing the deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Put your GM hats on, fellas. Put your GM hats on. Like, you are sitting in the front office of the Cleveland Browns. You've got control over this draft. What does Hot Rod do once that number 6 pick rolls around? What would you do if you were in control of the Cleveland Browns draft? Which direction would you go?
First and foremost, I'm looking at the best football player, okay,
Yep.
with that pick. I'm looking at who is best, and who could help our team. Secondly, if that guy, Caleb Downs, is there again, I think he's generational. I think he's Ed Reedish. I think he's Tom Dardenish, okay? If he's there, even though, again, we don't defense isn't our needs, isn't our, needs right at the moment. You cannot pass on him, okay? You cannot pass on him. Like Hot Rod say, also, too, he's a guy that'll come on your team and can start day one. Whoever you pick at that number 6 pick has to be somebody that can help you day one. He's not somebody that you just bring in and try to, work him up to speed and get him ready, this and that. He's got to be an impact player day one. And if Caleb Downs is there, aside from your best football player, you got to grab him, especially if he's somebody that can help you day one.
Yep.
And then again, later on, continue to address the offensive line and, wide receiver. But, for me, if Downs is there, you got to grab him. Imagine him in that defense
Oh,
with
my
Miles
goodness. Woo!
and, the other pieces that we have. Hey, you got to take them. So that's where I am. That's where I am right now.
What about you, Hot Rod?
So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. You have Andrew Berry has rebuilt the offensive line through free agency, and your glaring weakness, yes, is left tackle, which I believe there are several tackles in this draft that you can get. But you got to get a wide receiver, and you got to get a wide receiver that you believe that can come in day one and can be that wide receiver one. So if I am the GM of the Cleveland Browns and I don't get a Godfather deal for number 6, I am going to draft Carnell Tate. And the only reason that I'm drafting Carnell Tate, and it's not because he's a Buckeye, but it's because if you look at his body of work and you look at his reliability, okay, because when it comes to Tyson has been hurt every year. I think Tyson is the better receiver in terms of, big play ability, but, the only ability is availability. And I can't have
he gets hurt.
a wide
He's kinda
receiver
fragile.
who's my number 1 to be hurt all the time. So I would grab Carnell Tate at number 6. And I would grab,
even if Downs is there, you would grab him over Downs if Downs is there.
So the way that would happen if I needed to grab Caleb Downs is I would have to then look at those second tier wide receivers at number 24. I would have to look at the Casey Concepciones. I would have to look at those tier of guys and say, okay, can they come in and be a difference maker? All right, because yes, you can get linemen, in the second and third rounds, and you can get quality linemen. Okay, maybe not of the Monroe Freeland, who I believe is a developmental project. Okay, the tackle out of Alabama, I believe he's a developmental project. Developmental projects you get in the later rounds. You don't do early round drafts for guys who are not starters.
True.
So if Caleb Downs is there, would I take a shot at him? Yeah, I would. I'm be honest with you. I would. And then I would go ahead because people don't believe when you listen to the talking heads in Cleveland, they don't believe that the Browns are building to win right now. And I disagree.
I disagree with that as well.
I disagree too.
I think they're building to compete in the
right
AFC
now.
North
Tired
right now.
Right now.
And so
right now.
I just think that the more picks that Andrew Berry has, the better chance he has of hitting a home run. And so, like I said, I've doubled and tripled down on it. What he did on the offensive line, I think, was outstanding.
Yes,
Okay?
he has. Yes, he has.
And so I just think that he's going to try his best. But if I'm the GM of the Cleveland Browns, I'm going Carnell Tate with the number 6 pick, and I'm going Monroe Freeland with the 24th pick.
Okay.
I think you got to strike while the iron is hot. Like, I think the Cleveland Browns, I don't care what the Cleveland media says, the Cleveland Browns are structuring this team to win now. Like, why wouldn't you? You got the Bengals that are struggling. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers with a new coach. You got the Baltimore, no quarterback. You got the Baltimore Ravens, restructuring everything, new head coach there. Like, if you're the Cleveland Browns, why would you sit back and wait and try to retool when your defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense? You just got to get some pieces on the offensive end. Like, you guys have just equated, like, they've done a great job of rebuilding that offensive line in Cleveland. So you've got a win right now situation for the Cleveland Browns. I don't think that they're waiting. I agree with you guys 100% with that. If I'm the GM of the Cleveland Browns, there's no way in heck I'm trading those picks unless you just get an offer that you just can't turn down. I mean, you're talking about the number 6 pick. I don't think you can go wrong either way with a Carnell Tate or a Downs. Like, I think when you talk about a generational player in Downs, adding him to that already Super Bowl fortified defense that the Cleveland Browns have, that goes from being an elite defense to a nasty defense. That defense becomes nasty. The only X factor was it necessarily personnel or was it Schwartz? Schwartz is not at the helm anymore. There's going to be a different voice in that defensive room. So how will that affect the Cleveland Browns on defense? And you have to start adding some pieces, legit pieces that can come in and make an impact to help Shador. If Shador is going to be your QB1, it's hard to pass up a wide receiver of that caliber when you know that is a position of need for the Cleveland Browns. But I wouldn't be mad if they went Downs. I also wouldn't be mad if they went Tate. That's just kind of where the Browns is. They have that luxury.
Right.
Yep,
there you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset with it at all because you got 2 guys from the same program who are impactful players, and that's what I'm saying. At number 6, you have to have a player that's going to be immediately impactful. You cannot just grab some palooka and think that, okay, we got a couple years to develop him. No, if you grab Caleb Downs is a day 1 starter. He's walking on the field, and he's already, to me, better than Grant Delpit. And Delpit is not a flash in the pan. But, you have to look at it like that. It would be hard, but I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yep. Great analysis. We're going to continue to follow this, obviously, up until the draft. Can't wait to see what the Browns do. As you guys know, there are always people that are coming up missing. Shout out to Rory McIlroy winning another Masters, back-to-back Master for Rory McIlroy.
He probably didn't even need to play today. He was so far ahead, right?
Hey, well,
he was so far ahead.
No, he was far ahead after cut-down day. He had 6 strokes. He had a 6-stroke lead. He lost it on Saturday, where he came into Sunday tied, and he ended up winning it today. I was about to put an APB out on him for Saturday and Sunday, but we found him. He showed up. Somebody called the 1-800 number. He showed up, but we still have some people out there that are missing. Cap, these are your APBs, man. Who do you got?
I got some APBs. And you know what? I'm going to go after baseball. Now, my wife told me, hey, the season's just only 2 weeks old. Forget that. Those guys are making big money. I'm coming after some baseball players, okay? APB. So if you see these guys, call 1-800 the captain. And again, no police car is going to be enough. You're going to need the paddy wagon for these guys, okay? Yeah, you're going to need a paddy wagon. Let me start with Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees.
Oh. He's
He's batting a measly 173. He's already making infield errors. He doesn't know what base to throw the ball to. So Jazz Chisholm, where you at? Where you at batting 173? APB out on his behind. Next up, Pete Alonso, okay? Where you at? Where you at? Batting 167, first baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, okay?
Woo!
And that's a hitter-friendly park. He can't
Yes.
hit anything in Camden Yards, okay? They're paying you all that money, Pete Alonso. You were talking all that smack in the offseason. So were those Baltimore Oriole fans, a.k.a. they call themselves Baseball Nation. I love the park. But where you at, Pete Alonso? APP out on him.
Don't approach him.
Moving on. Moving on. Another guy. Trevor Story, okay, for Boston, all right? You're also hitting in a hitter-friendly park up there in Boston, okay, at Fenway, batting a measly 131. Now, you're blaming it on the cold weather. Okay, everybody's cold out there, but hey, where are you? Where you at? 131. The heck with you. Moving on, one more whole baseball team. I got the whole baseball team. The Houston Astros, your pitching is the worst in baseball. Your ERA is 6.31, okay? You're just throwing waffles at the plate and they're just knocking all over the place. You can't cheat your way out of this one, Houston. You can't bang on trash cans or whatever have you to make this work for you. So where you at, Houston Astros, you cheaters? Worst ERA in baseball. Houston Astros, where you out? And last but not least, have y'all seen Anthony Davis lately? Where is Anthony Davis? Where is he?
I seen him on his little. He's got a little prank show. I forget what. He's got his little.
Hey. Yeah, and he was mad, too. He was talking about how New Orleans, when he first returned, they didn't do a video for him. He ruined that franchise. Remember, he begged his way out of there, ruined the franchise, took all the money, left all the cupboards bare. Now he's mad that they didn't give him a video montage when he returned. The heck with you, Anthony Davis, because, again, you're still missing. Now, today he was in Cleveland on the sideline with the Washington Wizards in street clothes as always.
Street clothes.
When is he going to play basketball again? Anthony Davis, APB out on YouTube. So all of them baseball players batting less than 150, bobbling balls in the infield, not doing anything. All of them, APB. 1-800 the captain, and we're going to need the paddy wagon for him when we see him. Paddy wagon, APB.
The Caps APBs bring out the paddy wagon. And again, don't approach. Just
don't approach them because they're dangerous. They're dangerous.
The Cap. Great job with the APBs.
APBs.
We've got some people we got to call out, though, Cap. We got some people we got to call out. My guy, Hot Rod. Hot Rod, who you calling out this week, man? I wrote down a couple of people that I think that you're going to call out, some situations that I thought you might call out. What do you got for Hot Rod's call out?
I'm going to take a little bit from Cap because it was one that I thought he was going to name on the APB, but I'll take him and I'll take a coach's call out. Kyle Manzardo of the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh,
this dude is way below the Mendoza line. He's not even touching the Mendoza line. And we're still putting him in the lineup. Okay, so now I'm talking to the coach of the Cleveland Guardians. He absolutely stinks. Send him to AAA. We don't have time for him to try to work this stuff out in the big leagues. Go ahead and send him to AAA and let him go ahead and work it out. Okay, because he is a human air conditioner up there. All right, he is supplying air to the entire stadium. All right, so Kyle Manzardo. All right, man, come on, and then I'm calling out the NFL. Do you guys know that Todd Monken was not in the NFL coaches picture? You want to know why? He was getting a haircut,
right? Mr. Haircut.
He was getting a haircut, and they changed the time and didn't tell him.
Didn't tell him.
Here is a coach who became an NFL coach for the first time in his career at 65 years old, and you didn't have the common decency to tell him that you changed the time. Come on, Mr. Goodell.
Shame.
What is going on here? What is happening?
Shame.
I mean, is this Jimmy Haslam, Cleveland Browns bias? You didn't want him in there? So I am calling out the NFL for not allowing Todd
Rightfully so.
Monken to be in that picture. Shame on the NFL.
Shame,
you guys are
shame,
terrible.
Shame.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Those are my call outs. What you got, L Train? What other ones you got? Let me find my whistle. Shoot.
Hot Rod's coaches call out. Those are some good ones, man. How do you mess that up for Todd Monken, new head coach, been waiting for years to get this job, and you miss?
First shot.
Hot Rod's got the whistle in his mouth and everything. Come on, NFL. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Great job, Hot Rod. Great job. Hey, I thought I would bring back, people have been talking about, hey, L Train. What's going on with the Mystery Brown of the week? We just took a little hiatus. We just took a little break. We're not getting rid of the segment, so I thought I would bring it back today.
Sent me to study hall to study and get right for it. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Everybody sent me to study hall.
T's been working out. He's ready. Hot Rod's been working out. He's ready. What's the score, fellas? What's the score?
I think it's Hot Rod's got me like 10-4. 10-4.
Okay, 10-4.
Hot Rod, yeah. If we were playing softball, the Mercy Rule, they've been and called the game over, gave everybody a juice box and a bag of popcorn. That's it, the Mercy Rule.
Well,
yeah, Hot Rod's up on me 10-4. 10-4,
well,
man.
this is a chance for Hot Rod to continue his streak, or this is a chance for the Cap to redeem himself. Climb back in it. We got the Mystery Brown of the week, fellas. Here we go.
Okay.
The first clue is this Mystery Brown of the week was born in the 1950s.
Okay.
He played college football at a major program. That program that we're talking about was in the Big Ten.
Doug Deacon?
Nope. He played for a legendary college coach.
Jerry Shirk?
Nope. Played for a legendary college coach. Fifth clue, he was drafted into the NFL in the late 70s. Late 70s. In that draft, he was selected in the first round.
Mike Phipps?
Nope. He was an offensive player.
Cleo Miller?
Nope. Offensive player.
Yeah, Cleo was a running back.
This Mystery Brown player played wide receiver.
Ricky
Reggie
Feature?
No,
Ricky Feature!
Oh, and he was an HBCU guy too. Yeah, he played at Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah.
He was one of your dad's homeboys.
Yes. He used to come to the house all the time, man.
Yeah, he was one of your dad's homeboys. Yeah.
He used to live on Wofford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ricky Feature, number 83, I believe.
83.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get half since I knew all that information because he didn't come to Hot Rod's house. He came on our street. He didn't come to Hot Rod's street.
Well, little tidbit. I went to church with Ricky.
Did you really?
Ricky went to Mount Sinai Baptist Church, Dr. C.J. Matthews.
Wow.
And I was a youth leader there when Ricky was there. I used to talk to Ricky all the time because he wouldn't stop eating. Every time I saw Ricky, he had something in his mouth.
Wow. Ricky could play, man. Ricky was a heck of a wide receiver.
Yep.
Ricky could play, man.
Yep.
Rick Feature. Yeah, okay.
All right,
Okay.
all right. Whose week is it for start one, bench one, cut run, erase one? All right, Hot Rod.
I think it's mine.
All right.
Let's
think
do
it's
it,
mine.
man. What do you got?
All right, so I went into my database here. I pulled a Dylan Gabriel. I became the supercomputer. And today's start one, bench one, cut one, erase one is famous Joes in sports.
Famous
history.
Joes. Okay.
Famous Joes. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
So starting off, you have Joe Montana.
Ooh.
Behind him, you have Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green.
Joe Green.
Behind him, you have Joe Namath.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
Wow.
And then behind
Broadway
him,
Joe.
you have Joe Frazier.
Oh,
Frazier.
come on, Hot Rod.
Man. Wow.
Man, this is tough.
Wow. Okay.
Man, there's nowhere to go on this one. Like you just
wow.
boxed us into a corner.
Yeah. Oh man.
Go ahead, Cap.
Okay, I'll go.
You go first.
Okay. Okay, it's something. Saw a special just last night. I forgot what network what it was on. It was the documentary on Joe Frazier. And real talk, if there was no Joe Frazier, there was no Muhammad Ali. Real
Okay.
talk.
Right.
And also too, he talked about how he was his father's left arm.
Okay.
Growing up in Beaufort, South Carolina. Yeah, he was his dad's left arm. Joe Frazier, the late great Joe Frazier. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna bench Joe Montana. I'm gonna bench him. I'm going to cut Joe Namath, Broadway Joe. And only reason I'm going to erase Joe Green is because he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. But you know what? He was a first ballot Hall of Famer, great defensive lineman. You talk about it. And the only reason, again, I'm erasing him is because of the team that he plays with. So start with Joe Frazier, bench Joe Montana, cut Joe Namath, and erase Joe Green just because he was a Steeler.
I'm almost there with you, Cap. I'm almost there with you. I'm going to start Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Start Joe
Never
Montana.
lost a Super Bowl.
Yep. I am going to bench Joe Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
Bench Joe Frazier. I am going to cut Joe Namath. All right. And I am going to erase Mean Joe Green.
Wow.
So we just had the first two flip, man. First two flip.
Right.
But I can't argue your first two. I can't argue.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
that was a good one.
Very good. I am going to start Joe Montana. I'm going to bench Joe Green. I'm going to erase start one bench. I'm going to cut Joe Frazier, and I'm going to erase Joe Namath.
Joe Namath, okay.
Now, y'all know I'm not a Pittsburgh Steeler guy, but
I know that hurt your heart.
I am a former defensive line coach, and Joe Green changed the game.
Yeah,
Joe Green was one of the first guys I saw that was unblockable.
He was.
Could not,
couldn't block him.
He created the tilt where he was a two gap guy, and for those that don't know, two gap, he could take up the A gap, which is the side of the center, and the B gap, which is the guard. And you had to double team Joe Green. If you did not, Joe Green was going to wreak havoc. So you had to double team Joe Green, then you had to deal with Dwight White. You had to deal with that fearsome force of L.C. Greenwood. So Joe Green came to Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh was terrible, and he single-handedly turned it around. So now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. So yes, that did kind of hurt my heart. Joe Namath, to me, I had to erase Joe Namath because when you take away what he did with the Jets, what did he really do? Like, honestly, to me, what did Joe Namath really do? He was a great quarterback at Alabama. He did the Super Bowl thing with the Jets, coming back, saying they would come back. But after that, what did he do?
Yeah.
So that's just me,
Man, that was a good one, Rod. That was one of the better ones, man. That was really, really good. That was a tough one.
Good.
That was a tough one, man. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
Erase one.
Man. All right, fellas. Time for our parting shots. What do you got?
I'll go first. I'm coming after Myles Garrett. I'm coming after him, okay? Earlier this week, I believe it was Tuesday, you had the voluntary, workout, okay? It was just voluntary. It wasn't mandatory. It was voluntary. Since the Browns have come back into existence, we have a 33.5% winning average, okay? Since we've come back. Not good at all. When you think of the New York Yankees, that's a culture of winning. Oklahoma Sooner women's softball, winning culture. Okay. Who else? The Miami Heat, whether you like them or not, have a winning culture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, with us, it's all about trying to establish a culture in Cleveland. Now, again, granted, yeah, it wasn't mandatory, but Miles, it would have been nice for you to be there. Okay. Just again, just to be there, just to show a presence. I remember in the military, sailors and Marines are required to stay in shape. They're required to stay in shape. And when you get out of boot camp, it's on your own, okay? You don't always have to PT and exercise in formation with the group. You don't always have to, okay? But somebody can walk up to you at any time and put that tape around your stomach. And if you're not within standards, they may process you and send your butt home. So again, you have to stay in shape, which, hey, I've been retired for a number of years, but I'm still up at every morning at 4 o'clock working out because it's embedded in me. One thing I used to do when I was in uniform, again, I used to, gather all my sailors up. We exercised together 3 times a week, okay? I didn't have to be there, but I made sure I was there, and I made sure that the junior officers were there too, just to show a presence, just to exercise with those kids. And I tell you, with the young enlisted people, when they saw leadership around, it just brought something out in them, okay? It really, really let them know that, hey, leadership really, really cares, and they're in this fight with us. Miles, it would have been great for you to show up for those young rookies, who were on those teams, Carson Schlesinger and some of those other guys that were, picked last year, just to show a presence, because we're trying to establish a culture in Cleveland. It would have been nice. No, you didn't have to be there, but it sure would have been nice if you were there, okay? Because again, we're trying to establish something. Now, again, we know you're going to stay in shape. You're always in shape. Share that with them. Maybe one of them needs to see that.
Yep.
Maybe one of them needs to see that commitment, okay? Again, leadership can show up in many different ways, all right? Now, yeah, we know you're going to be ready come the beginning of the season, and we know that you're going to play your butt off. But share it with others, man. Share it with others. And it just, it just really, really upset me. Again, is this guy just there for the money? Is it just him? Or does he really, really care about the team? Because I know some other players that would have been there. Kobe would have been there. Ray Lewis would have been there. Darryl Green of those old Washington Redskins, who was always a leader.
Yeah.
He was always there, okay? So come on, Miles. I need you to step up. So that's my parting shot.
Good one, man. Good one. Love it. Love it. What do you got, Hot Rod?
So my parting shot, I began to mention it on the locker room. So, the 3 of us, doing 3 the hard way, we have a good time talking, Cleveland sports, and we agree to disagree at times.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get a little bit perturbed when it comes to our African American, our black men on these platforms just constantly digging at each other. So now it's Patrick Beverly and Matt Barnes. And of course, we talked about Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. Okay. And we're seeing this pattern. And it's really starting to frustrate me because, there are forces out here that just want to see our demise. Whether, and you have a platform to, agree to disagree. And just this constant bickering back and forth, name calling, all of this tomfoolery. I've just had enough of it. I can agree to disagree with you. That doesn't mean that I hate you. That just means that in that particular subject, we don't agree. No one really cares about who was the better basketball player. Nobody really cares about who is the better influencer. Nobody really cares. People, when it comes to the world of sports, people just want to be entertained. They want to get away from all the stuff that's going on in the world today. They just want to take a moment. But I got guys that are constantly just at each other, and it's annoying. And so I'm saying this: stop the foolishness. If you don't agree with one another, don't do it in public. Sit down with one another and talk it out. And like me and my brother did when we grew up, our father told us, listen, if y'all can't talk it out, go in the backyard and do what y'all got to do. But when y'all come back, it's done.
Yep.
And so I don't condone violence, and I've never condoned violence. However, you got to be able to sit down and have a civil conversation, because all this bickering back and forth, Matt Barnes went at Stephen A. Smith for something that he said. I'm tired of seeing this. Cam Newton is just gassing all of this up. Cam Newton is gassing everything up. But brothers don't
like
seem
a bunch of women.
Yeah.
the brothers don't
like a bunch of
seem to
girls.
understand is that people, especially young people, are watching you. They're watching what you say and they're watching what you do. And so my parting shot is stop the tomfoolery. Stop it. And let's get back to just talking, the gracefulness and the love that we have for the sports. Stop with this one-on-one, I'm better than you. If I see you, it's fade on sight and all that. Nobody want to hear that garbage. And then stop saying stuff just to get clicks.
Yep,
If it ever gets to a point where myself and my brothers here have to start saying stuff so that people will click on, that will be the last time you will see Coach Young. Because I'm not here for clicks. I'm here for the entertainment side of it. I'm here because I love Cleveland sports. I love all my Cleveland sports, and that's all I want to. And people can disagree with me. It's okay. I told y'all I'm all about the smoke. But when you start going insults and I do this to you, I ain't got time for that. I don't. So stop the tomfoolery.
Yep.
That's a good one, man. That's
Great
really
take,
good.
Rob. Yeah.
It's been embarrassing for some. I mean, you're talking about some of our iconic sport analysis guys that are on these platforms, and it is just amazing to me where that has gone, man. But I'm glad you addressed that. Totally agree, 1,000%. That's a good one, Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
My parting shot is this, fellas. All three of us are leaders. Cap, you have led sailors in your career. Hot Rod, you have been a coach. Your career, I have been a coach in my career. And the one thing that I have to tell you, fellas, is no matter what leadership position you are in, regardless of whether you're leading young men and young women, you never know how your leadership is going to impact somebody's life. You never know how your words are going to impact somebody's life. I'll give you a prime example. A couple years ago, one of my players that I hadn't heard from in years, she called me up, said, "Coach, I'm going to be in town. Can I have lunch with you?" I said, "Sure." Long story short, she asked me to officiate her wedding. I was blown away by that, man. Just blown away by that. One of the highlights of my coaching career. Today, Cap, I was telling you this pre-show. I'm out at a tournament watching female basketball players play, big tournament in Minneapolis, out there watching them play. All of a sudden, this young man comes up to me, got a big old beard, and he comes up to me, he says, "Hey, you wouldn't happen to be Coach Jones, would you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Coach Jones." He said, "Coach, I bet you don't remember who I am." And I said, "I know who you are." I said, "You're Ty Colston." That man broke down in tears.
Right.
A grown man broke down in tears. He was like, "Coach, I can't believe you remember me." And I said, "Of course I remember you." Long story short, Ty looked at himself as a bad kid. And when I was coaching boys, I was on the boys' side at Park Center High School in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This kid could hoop, but he was always in trouble in class. He was getting into it with teachers. And I brought him up on the varsity team, number one, because he could hoop. But I knew I had a special team, and I could put him around guys that were high academic, guys that would take him under their wing and look after him and mentor him.
Yep.
And that was probably the best value that he could have got from being on varsity that year. Well, long story short, he talked to me today, and he said that group of gentlemen, the decision I made to give him an opportunity helped him get to be where he is today.
Wow.
In his career as a dad. He was up there watching his daughter play as a dad, all because of that one decision and some of the things that I tried to teach him a long time ago, back in the 90s, fellas. Back in the 90s.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. When I first got up here to Minnesota, man, it was crazy. And but just those relationships, some of the words that he remembered, you don't know as a leader how you're going to impact somebody. So I know this is the business that all three of us are in, impacting people's lives.
Right.
So my parting shot is, if you're in the leadership position, really take value and take care in some of the words that you say to people that you're mentoring, because you never know what's going to stick in people's lives, and you never know what they're going to take out of certain conversations that you have. So that is my party shot. Made my day today, man. It was,
There you go.
it was
And it
pretty good.
should've.
Made my day today.
It should have.
Yeah,
It should have, because what we do what we
Mm-hmm.
do not for the money, but because if that would be the case, we wouldn't even be sitting up here right now. Okay,
That's right.
but
Especially past my bedtime, we wouldn't be.
Yeah, but just the
Yeah.
delight in seeing kids who you have influenced and you have touched that become successful, and it doesn't necessarily have to be they're the richest person in the world, just successful in life in general. And so
There you
I
go.
always
Good
had
fathers.
I always had this motto: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And by you,
How much you care, that's it.
remembering that young man, that showed him you really cared for him, because you never forgot
There
it.
you go.
But shout out to
Yep.
you,
There
L
you go.
Train, because it needs to be
That's what's
more
up. Yep.
individuals like yourself, like
you
you,
go.
Cap, that's out here, that's
Mhm.
influencing this generation, because what you do is going to travel even past the time that we all go home. Those kids and
Yeah.
those
There you
kids are going to understand something that you told them so many years ago. So
Mhm.
shout out
There
to
you
you
go.
guys.
Amen.
That,
There you
yeah.
go. There you go.
I
There you go.
appreciate
It's
it.
like it's like, we all have a born date, and now we're working on that dash, because we're gonna have an end date. It's all about what your dash is, and that's an example of your dash today. Of
Yep.
that young man coming up to you.
Yep.
I
That's your
appreciate
dash.
it.
Yep.
I've loved all the championships that I've won. I've loved all the wins. I've embraced the losses. I've loved all the conference championships, but I love the relationships
Yes.
more
go.
than anything, man. It's
Yes.
just,
There
it's
you go.
been a great ride. It's been a great
Yes.
ride
That's
as a
what's up.
coach. Yep,
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Yep. Appreciate
up?
you guys. Great party
right.
shot. Another episode of 3 the Hard Way.
The
Please hit
Hard
that
Way.
like and subscribe button. Here's what I want everybody out there that listens to 3 the Hard Way. Just take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us stay in the algorithm. Share, tell someone about the show so we can keep growing this thing, man. We really, really appreciate you. Anything left
There
for
you
3
go.
the Hard Way Nation out there, fellas?
There you go. Everybody have a blessed week. Go Cavs, and we'll see you next week. See you next week.
Yeah, and yeah, Cap, go to bed. It's past your bedtime.
Yes, sir is. Because 4 o'clock in the morning, it'll be here before you know it.
That's right.
4 a.m. will be here before you know it, man. It'll be here before you know it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, and we will see everyone when we see everyone. Thank
All
you.
right. Good show, fellas.
Great.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.